Hello everyone, let's talk about unified models again because this trend has been going strong for months now. We previously covered Hi-Dream-O1 image, a unified model that handles both image generation and image understanding in one package. And today, we're adding another one to the list, ByteDance's new model called Lance. So what is Lance? It's a unified multimodal model designed for what ByteDance calls synergy, meaning within one single model, it can do text-to-image, text-to-video, image editing, and even video and image reasoning. That's going way beyond what we saw with HiDream. But here's the interesting part. Lance is a 3 billion parameter native unified multimodal model. That's really small, relatively speaking, for each multimodal task it handles. And why am I saying each multimodal task? Because if you check out their Hugging Face repo, the model files are actually separated into image and video folders. Each one is its own 3 billion parameter model. Their text encoder, or the video understanding backend, uses Qwen 2.5VL as the vision-capable model. So they've pipelined Qwen 2.5VL with these 3 billion parameter models for image and video reasoning. Now, the main thing to understand about Lance, sure, it can generate video and images, but the quality is not top-notch like flagship models. Think CDance 2.0 that we covered before, cinematic shots, fast action motions, that level of video footage. Lance? This is mostly a proof of concept. And honestly, if you look at ByteDance's track record, all of their open source projects are research purpose only. They're demonstrating concepts, training techniques, and ideas with smaller datasets, and then later, they bring those learnings to their production-grade models in CapCut or the CDance series. For training, they used 128A 100 GPUs on a relatively low budget to train this 3 billion parameter multitasking model. So yeah, research project vibes all around. Now, when I tried implementing this in ComfyUI custom nodes, the video editing was kind of buggy. At this moment, maybe I just haven't had enough time to refine the custom node pipeline for video editing, but image editing is doing okay. And here's where Lance actually shines: the video and image understanding is quite good. Within this 3 billion parameter model, it can do video reasoning. You can ask it questions and it'll go through your video content in detail, what's happening, what objects are there, and respond with solid answers. So basically, you can treat this as a vision language model focused specifically on image and video content. For image generation, text-to-image, and image editing, it does follow prompt instructions pretty well, especially for editing. But the resolutions? Don't expect anything high, since this is just a research project. Alright, let's try this out in ComfyUI. I've been playing around with this model and implemented ComfyUI custom nodes to test how it performs. If you want to try it yourself, check out the GitHub project page. So the node I've implemented covers all the Lance features: model loader, text-to-image, text-to-video, image editing, video editing, and both image and video reasoning, all in one custom nodes pack. I tested it with a simple text prompt to change the background, and it works. The character was able to maintain its style and consistency, and for video and image reasoning, it does pretty well, which is really the main focus of this model. Now let's switch gears and check out Hi-Dream-O1 image, which has been officially implemented natively in ComfyUI. You can find the Hugging Face repo for Hi-Dream. You'll need to choose one of the model formats. BF16, FP8, or MXFP8 are all available. Now there's the base model and the dev model. As we discussed in the last video, they have different settings for sampling steps and a few tweaks to CFG. Each one has its own dedicated settings. Today we're focusing more on the image dev model since it's faster with lower sampling steps. And there's actually an update. The new Hi-Dream-O1 image dev model got an update last weekend. The 2.604 version, named after the month of the update, brings improvements for inferencing, especially for text-to-image prompt generation. The prompt agents in the Python code have also been enhanced specifically for text-to-image. So yeah, we can wait for the 2604 update to land in ComfyUI. But honestly, this won't drastically affect image generation performance, since for text-to-image, we can always use other prompt generators. Alright, first up, let's check out the Hi-Dream models in ComfyUI. I've put together a 3-in-1 workflow that combines all Hi-Dream-O1 image features into one workflow, but with separate groups so it's easier to organize and operate. So here we've got text to image, where I'm using the QwenVL prompt enhancer. And honestly, this one uses a 0.6 billion parameter model really small. You could probably run it on a phone. And it works as a prompt enhancer that takes your input prompt, enhances it, and passes it to the text to image generation. Just a typical ComfyUI setup input, sampling, and output. Now, what's special about this model is that since we don't need a separate VAE and text encoder, it's one unified model. We load everything through the load checkpoint node. Think of it like loading SDXL. But this one model does way more tasks than SDXL. One thing I should mention, the VAE and text encoder nodes here are just for compatibility. They're basically connectors to make the native nodes work, but no actual VAE data is passed into the model's processing. Just think of them as pass-through connectors. I've linked the checkpoint models and LoRa models in the description. If you're using the base model like the Hi-Dream-O1 BF16, then you can add a LoRa to enable distillation sampling, which brings it down to 28 steps as the standard. Without the distillation LoRa, the base model runs at 50 sampling steps. Personally, I'd recommend just using the HiDream-O1 image dev model by itself. Then you don't have to worry about whether to connect a LoRa or not. But for testing purposes, I downloaded both the base and dev models. For model noise scale, the base model uses 8.0 and the dev or distilled LoRa models use 7.5. Those are the standard settings in ComfyUI. Alright, so as I mentioned, 3 features combined in this workflow: text to image, image edit, and reference to image, all in one. Let's start with text to image, and here's our output. As we tested before in the last video with Hi-Dream-O1 using native Python inferencing. Today, the quality in Comfy, the image actually looks a bit better, since there are more custom settings to play with. Like the sampler for the dev model, it uses LCM. But if you're using the base model with 50 sampling steps, you'd switch to a different sampler method like the traditional Euler and set the sampling steps to 50. So yeah, my recommendation if you're just using this for inference and image generation, stick with the dev model if you're running locally. You'll be fine, and the image quality is almost the same as the base model. Just minor differences in some details, but those details can be enhanced with other models or a refiner. So far, the model's output with text display and prompt adherence is really good. But some of the texture on characters, honestly, it needs refinement, like the skin texture. And some object textures, even the table here looks kind of artifacty. But luckily, this model knows that hands have 5 fingers. It doesn't do that thing Flux 2 did before with 6 or 10 fingers on one hand. So the object understanding is definitely better. Next up, image editing. This is almost identical to reference to image, but we're setting image as the input. Here I've got a character and a set of outfit photographs laid out. The text prompt is super simple, just mentions what objects are in the clothing image, that's image 2, and we list all the objects that need to go onto the character. And the output looks like this. By default, this model outputs at 2K resolution 2408 by 2408. The texture, again, while the skin looks a bit smoother, there are still some texture artifacts, but the reference of objects is really good for showing the garment try-on. I'd say that using this model natively, it's already a virtual try-on AI model. You don't need to add anything extra for virtual try-on in e-commerce or product demonstrations. And the last feature, reference to image. I tested the maximum number of input images it can handle, and it's 4. You can push it to 5 or 6, but it starts getting incorrect object referencing. In this case, I've got 4 different characters like a K-pop band where each artist has their own style and all of them are combined into one image like this. It does work pretty well for clothing each character's style, and consistency transfers nicely into the combined image. But as I mentioned, if you add more than 4 input images with Hi-Dream-O1 reference, you'll start to see incorrect styles and inconsistencies. That's the maximum it can handle. Then, in the second part of this workflow, I've added an Z image refiner that works with all 3 features from Hi-Dream. You can enable this group and try it on any of the outputs. For example, let's use the virtual try-on as a test case. Let's pick another character and a different garment. I'm using a character with blue hair and a different outfit for the try-on, and just using text prompts to describe whatever objects are in image 2 to put onto the character. Let's do a side-by-side comparison, comparing with the input image of the garment, the sweater, the dress, and especially the earrings. That triangle shape was correctly placed on the character. And the bracelets, well, the bracelet isn't perfectly accurate, probably because the input image wasn't clear about what that silver bracelet actually looks like. So the AI made its best guess and created something. But overall, the outfit, especially the dress, the color pattern is nearly identical. Not much difference compared with other AI models for virtual try-on. And this is a big plus if you use this for e-commerce. Put your product on a table with a close-up shot, and you still get pretty accurate image referencing. And the best part? This is done with just a basic workflow. Think about it before. We had to use masking across multiple custom nodes, latent masks, and all sorts of conditions to achieve the same thing. Even back with Flux 2 Klein, you still needed a lot of masking for a try-on task like this. So yeah, it's really convenient nowadays with unified multimodal models. But some of the texture, of course, is still kind of plastic and artifacty, especially on faces. So I used the Z image refiner, and the text prompts, those are automated now. We don't need manual generic text prompts here. It's all handled by QwenVL itself, and honestly, it generates better, more detailed prompts than human input. So, comparing the two images, you can see the texture is a bit better. At least the face and skin aren't as plasticky as Hi-Dream's raw output. But of course, Hi-Dream's main purpose isn't to create ultra-realistic characters. It's trained to be a high-contrast model suitable for product showcases and banner text displays. Some people might not get why the model needs to be high contrast and why those textures come out looking artifacty. And lastly, the image upscale, I kept that with ZVRR2. You can use whatever upscaler you prefer. This is just a demo showing how I did the upscale. So here's the upscaled output. And here's your full workflow running this model. So that's the HiDream Image 3-in-1 feature update. And the multiple reference image results look like this. As you can see in the comparison from HiDream, kind of plasticky with artifact textures from the AI model. If you're doing human-centric images like this, try running it through Z-Image Full Refiner. That'll get you better texture than the raw plasticky look. Especially obvious with the dyed hair, the blue and purples and blonde come out too shiny in the raw output. But after refining, you can see the image texture looks noticeably different. So yeah, that's it for the HiDream model in ComfyUI. And even though there's an update 2604 or even later versions, the concept of how it operates stays the same. Alright, next up, ByteDance's new model, Lance. So basically, we have this multimodal approach for image editing, or video generation in general, as well as the image and video reasoning. The reasoning is really the main course of this model, how the architecture is designed, and how well a small billion parameter model can handle text generation with your image and video inputs. Now, at the time of recording this video, I just finished making the custom nodes, so the image editing feature is not quite there yet. I tested changing backgrounds, and it's still kind of buggy. Sometimes it generates okay, sometimes it doesn't. But for text to image, it's doing fine. First things first, this is a 3 billion parameter model. And not just because of how small it is, but because of the design. This ByteDance research project is proof of concept, in my opinion. When you look at their actual production work, CDance 2.0, the graphics and video or image generation, they're a totally different story. When I look at what it's doing, when I read their research paper, this is proof of concept. Common sense, if you're really building an AI model for high-quality output, you wouldn't train with budget GPU at 480p video resolution, right? Just apply some common sense here. Anyway, the reasoning part is what I want to focus on. Because for reasoning, it doesn't matter how large or small the model is. The architecture design of the training is what determines how well the model responds. So let's look at image reasoning. We generated this image earlier, and I plugged it into the image understanding. I asked the AI, in this image, what is the possible event happening? It looks like a group of K-pop artists, right? And the answer it gives is along the lines of what I was thinking. The response suggests the possible event is 4 girls in a K-pop group, commonly associated with maybe a K-pop concert or a music festival. Pretty close to what you'd expect. So if you're using this for Q&A with image understanding, it works well. Now let's try video reasoning. I'll enable these groups. With a general Q&A like, describe how the video looks, it works. but it doesn't really showcase the reasoning capability. So let me show you a better example. This is a group of people, just a stock video of friends dancing. And instead of simple questions like how many or what colors, I'm asking something that pushes the AI toward reasoning. What are they doing? What do you see in the video? And the description comes back 6 people beside a lake enjoying the moment. It even makes some assumptions, which is different from typical factual questions. You can push it further with questions that require deeper reasoning. And that's the main point of this model. Yes, it has image and video generation capabilities, but will you really use 768 resolution for image generation nowadays? Or generate video at 480p? If you're okay with quality from 1 or 2 years ago, then sure. But it doesn't make sense to rely on this 3 billion parameter model for production quality video or image generation, especially when ByteDance's official website shows you CDance 2.0 with cinematic quality. That's a totally different story of what ByteDance is actually capable of. So for me personally, the image and video generation, that's just a side benefit. The training data for creating images and videos is really there to support the main course image and video reasoning. How well can even a small 3 billion parameter model understand videos by going through each object, each movement? Think of it this way, pretend the model is human. If you don't know how to understand images and graphics, then you won't be able to edit or create them. You have to learn how to understand video and images before you can draw on top of them or edit them. That's the easier way to think about this concept. And those 480p and 768 pixel training datasets, they're not going to help you create great images for production tasks. So my takeaway, the reasoning is the main course. Everything else is proof of concept. So that's it for this video. Have a nice day, see ya.